There are a couple important features that are currently missing in Logic Pro X, but luckily for us, there are free plugins that can help us to get around with this. And in this video, I'm going to show you what those plugins are, what they do, and how to use them. So let's get started. So the first one is going to be synthesizers. Logic comes with a ton of them, and they all sound amazing. Anywhere you go, a bunch of good sounding default presets. You can create very sophisticated sounds there. This one has 3 oscillators, sculpture. It's a crazy good modeling synth. They have now Alchemy in the new version. It's all amazing. The problem is, if you're just starting off, this interface might be overwhelming. You would be looking for something that is very simple and easy to understand and easy to start to work with. I don't think they're there yet. That's the problem. I know that Logic is now going through pretty much all plugins and most of the instruments, overhauling the interface. It's probably coming, but at the moment, there is no such a thing. So for this, my go-to synthesizer is always the TAL Noisemaker. They recently did a facelift, and I think they did a fantastic job laying it out, introducing those colors. It's easy to read, easy to understand what's going on. And it has all the essentials that you want as a beginner. You have 2 oscillators, you have your LFO master section, you have different filters. You can also use this graphic envelope that you can just play around with, and it's easy to understand. And it even comes with some basic effects like chorus, reverb, and delay. What else do you need? As a beginner, I think it's a fantastic tool. There's tons of materials on the internet. You can look it up, find YouTube tutorials, how to use it, how to play around. Or the way I'm doing it, I'm just going with default factory presets, slightly modify them. And it's already giving me really good results. I can use this straight in my production. Beautiful. I'm just gonna set it to add some reverb. I think it's amazing. Okay. So the next one in the list is TDR Nova. This is dynamic AQ. If you go to Logic subreddits or Logic forums, you will see people constantly asking, hey, can we get a dynamic AQ? And I think TDR Nova is really fits and fills in this void in the Logic ecosystem right now. I'm not going to get into details what really the dynamic EQ does. I'm just going to show you a couple of use cases, how I personally use it in my mixes. In most of my projects, I use this plugin for sidechaining one instrument from the other one. In this project, I used it on the group of all the instruments with fast attack and release, like guitars in this case, acoustic guitars and clean electric guitars. And I'm sidechaining them from kick and bass. And it's set around 300 Hertz with a gain reduction of around like 3 dB, not more, relatively fast attack time, and relatively long release time to match the tempo of the project, which is 125 BPM. And let me just solo those two together. This is a dance track. You obviously want to have your bass and kick to be present and be just the foundation for everything. And at the same time, you don't want to put like a full band compressor on your guitars, because then it's gonna eat up the attack of your instruments, of the transients of your guitar. So guitar is gonna then sound very dull. So then dynamic EQ comes very handy in this case. You can apply it selectively to a specific frequency range. In my case, I use a shelf filter and I apply it around 300 Hertz. It's a slight reduction. Maybe we're talking like 2-3 dBs, as you can see. it does the job really well. It brings up the kick and the bass up in the mix pretty well, and I think it just works really well. The other use case for me is if I have a track with voice, with vocals, I usually sidechain all the melodic instruments. Obviously, it's the guitars, the synth, the horns, everything, right? From the voice. Same idea. I want the vocals to cut through the mix a little bit more. Again, not a ton of reduction, very gentle, around 2 kilohertz. This is where the articulation of the voice is really present, so that you can really understand what the lyrics are and what the singer is trying to sing there. Again, and I'm applying like a very, very little reduction here. And then the second band that I'm using is around here, around 400 hertz, where the body of the voice is. Again, just to create this extra room for the voice and be right in the mix. Again, it's a very specific case. It's not a Swiss Army knife. It's not a plugin that you're just going to throw on your master and it will make your mix suddenly beautiful. But it really, with those subtle changes, it actually makes more room, more space for those instruments that you want to kind of bring up a little in the mix, and not just the whole spectrum, but the selective frequency. Okay, so that was Dynamic EQ and TDR Nova. The next one in the list is Julian Loudness Meter. With the latest release, Logic stepped up their game in the mastering domain, but this track was released before this feature was available, so I'm not using this feature in this very project, but I already tried on the new projects, and I think it's amazing. However, it still lacks this feature that Julian Loudness Meter can provide you. It gives you a very simple kind of time view of your track. And I just want to see visually where my loudness is and where do I have different peaks and what those peaks are. Maybe I have a splash of, I don't know, my cymbals, or I have my couple other instruments just overlap in time on each other and create this weird peak that my limiter is not able to cope with. So I think it's a fantastic tool. This plugin also has a pro version, which has some extra features, which I never actually use. But the free version, it's the default plugin that sits on my master bus in every single project. And it's actually part of my template that I use for Logic. Every time I create a new project, it's always there. And it's my go-to tool to really monitor and see what's going on with my master chain. Amazing value, highly recommend, give it a try. As usual, you can find all the links in the section down below, and see you in the next one.